Autumn had painted the English countryside in shades of gold and crimson when panic swept through Blackwood Manor. The Duke's horse had returned. Alone. Shadow, the prized black stallion of Duke Adrian Blackwood, galloped through the gates just before sunset, covered in mud and foam. Stable boys rushed toward him. "Where's his grace?" one of them cried. The horse neighed wildly and kicked the ground in distress. Then old Mr. Carter, the head groom, noticed something strange. There was a leather saddlebag hanging loosely at the side. Inside lay only one thing: a woman's white glove. And it was stained with blood. Within minutes, the entire manor was thrown into chaos. Lady Margaret Blackwood, Adrian's widowed mother, nearly collapsed when she saw the glove. "My son," she whispered. The butler immediately sent men into the surrounding forests. But night was approaching, and there was no sign of the Duke. No sign of an accident. No sign of robbers. Nothing. Only the glove. By midnight, Captain Henry Wells of the local constabulary arrived. He carefully examined the glove. "Not His Grace's blood," he concluded. Lady Margaret stared. "A woman's glove?" Henry nodded. "And expensive. Someone of noble birth." The older woman frowned. But Adrian wasn't engaged. He never kept company with ladies. Everyone knew that. Ever since his fiancée, Lady Evelyn Sinclair, had disappeared 6 years earlier, the Duke had refused every match proposed by society. He had become distant, cold, and entirely devoted to his estates. But one thing had never changed. Every year, on October 15th, he rode alone to the cliffs near Raven's Point, the same place where Lady Evelyn had supposedly drowned. And today, October 15th, he had gone there again. By dawn, search parties returned empty-handed. No Duke, no body, no clues, until one rider burst through the gates. "We found something." Captain Wells immediately mounted his horse. Half an hour later, they arrived at an abandoned cottage hidden deep within the woods. And there, standing outside, was Duke Adrian Blackwood, alive, covered in mud, and carrying firewood. Everyone stared in disbelief. Lady Margaret burst into tears. "Adrian?" But her relief quickly turned into confusion, because her son looked completely shocked to see them. "What are all of you doing here?" Captain Wells frowned. "We've been searching for you all night." Adrian blinked. "Why?" The captain held up the blood-stained glove. "This was found in your saddlebag." Adrian's face changed. His eyes widened. "Where did you get that?" "It came from your horse." The Duke turned pale. Without another word, he ran inside the cottage. The others exchanged worried glances and followed. And then, every person in the room froze. Because lying unconscious on the bed was a woman. A beautiful woman with long dark hair. Her shoulder heavily bandaged. And beside her, on the table, rested a silver necklace. Lady Margaret gasped. "No." Captain Wells stared. The Duke himself looked as though he had seen a ghost. Because the necklace belonged to only one person. Lady Evelyn Sinclair. The woman who had supposedly died 6 years ago. And as everyone stood there speechless, the unconscious woman slowly opened her eyes, looked directly at Adrian, and whispered through tears, "You came back," before fainting once more. The room remained frozen in stunned silence. Lady Margaret could hardly breathe. Captain Henry Wells removed his hat in disbelief. And Duke Adrian Blackwood stood motionless beside the bed, staring at the woman he had mourned for 6 long years. Lady Evelyn Sinclair. Alive. It was impossible. Yet the silver necklace lying beside her left no room for doubt. He had given it to her himself on the day they became engaged. Slowly, Adrian sat beside the bed. His hands trembled. "Evelyn," he whispered. Her eyes fluttered open once more. This time she remained awake. And when she saw him, tears rolled down her cheeks. "Adrian." The sound of his name on her lips nearly broke him. He had dreamed of hearing that voice again. Dreamed of this moment. Yet nothing could have prepared him for the reality. "You." His voice cracked. "You're alive." Evelyn smiled weakly. "So are you." Before anyone could speak further, she suddenly looked around in confusion. "Where is Sophie?" Adrian frowned. "Sophie?" Fear immediately filled Evelyn's eyes. "The little girl? Where is she?" Captain Wells stepped forward. "What little girl?" "The child. She's only 5. She was with me." Ignoring her wound, Evelyn tried to rise. Adrian gently held her. "Easy." "No." Tears streamed down her face. "I promised her mother. I promised I'd protect her." Captain Wells exchanged a glance with Lady Margaret. There was no child in the cottage. Evelyn's face turned white. No. And then she collapsed into sobs. Later that evening, after Dr. Simmons treated her injuries, Evelyn finally told them the truth. 6 years earlier, she had indeed fallen into the sea near Raven's Point. But she had survived. A fishing vessel rescued her. Unfortunately, the accident had left her with no memory. For nearly 2 years she remembered nothing. Not her name. Not her family. Not Adrian. Nothing. She had lived among fishermen in Scotland under the name Anna. Until one day, bandits attacked the village. A young widow named Mary Collins was murdered while protecting her daughter, Sophie. Before dying, Mary had begged Evelyn to save the child. And Evelyn had kept her promise. For the next 4 years, she had raised Sophie as though she were her own daughter. They traveled from town to town, earning money through sewing and embroidery. Always together. Until yesterday. 3 men attacked us, Evelyn whispered. They tried to rob us. I fought back. They wounded me. And Sophie ran into the woods. Adrian clenched his fists. You should have come to me. Fresh tears appeared in her eyes. I didn't remember you. But 3 months ago. She touched the silver necklace. My memories returned. Everything. Even you. Her voice broke. I was on my way home. The following morning, Adrian organized a massive search. The entire county joined. Villagers, soldiers. Even Lady Margaret insisted on helping. But by sunset, there was no sign of Sophie. Evelyn sat by the window in despair. She's alone. She's frightened. It's my fault. Adrian knelt beside her. No. I promised her mother. And I failed. He gently took her hand. We'll find her. I swear it. For a moment, Evelyn simply looked at him. 6 years. 6 years he had spent believing she was dead. And still, there was no anger in his eyes. Only love. Only relief. Only gratitude. And somehow, that made her cry even harder. 3 days passed. Nothing. No trace of Sophie. Then on the 4th evening, a rider arrived at Blackwood Manor. Your Grace. Adrian rushed downstairs. What is it? The man removed his hat. We found one of the attackers. Captain Wells immediately stepped forward. Where? Near the northern road. He's badly injured. Adrian's eyes darkened. Did he speak? The rider swallowed nervously. Yes. And? The man's face turned pale. He said the girl is alive. Evelyn gasped. Thank God. But the rider wasn't finished. He also said. Captain Wells frowned. Said what? The man looked directly at the Duke. He said they didn't attack Lady Evelyn by chance. Silence filled the room. Adrian slowly rose. What do you mean? The rider swallowed. He claimed someone paid them. Someone rich. Someone powerful. And according to him. The man hesitated. The order came from London. From a member of your own family. The color drained from Lady Margaret's face. And then she whispered in horror. No. Because there was only one person who stood to inherit everything if Adrian had never found Evelyn. His younger cousin. Lord Charles Blackwood. The man currently staying under Adrian's own roof.